what's up? It's me, Molly G, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you through a hips and hamstrings flexibility session. I get a lot of questions all the time on my Instagram of how I got so flexible, how to increase range of motion in your hips, and through my long journey of personal training and then calisthenics and now doing more like body weight acrobatic movements, I have a ton of different techniques that will help you gain range of motion in your hips and hamstrings. This flexibility video is for literally anybody, so whether you are a bodybuilder and you're super tight in your hips and hamstrings, or you're an acrobat and want a little bit of an extra stretch, you can definitely benefit from this video. So if you guys would just go ahead and subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, definitely let me know what other types of videos you guys would like to see from me, and let's get started with the flexibility session. Today, the only things that you'll need for class are 2 blocks. So I have these 2 blocks right here. They're just yoga blocks, but if you guys have anything that you can prop your hands up on, you can also use that. The first drill that we'll be doing is called controlled articulated joint rotation. So starting on our hands and knees, you're gonna place one knee in the middle of your mat. Bring one of your feet back, kick it back behind you, and then bring your knee out, down, and around. You're gonna repeat this one way 5 times. And then switch directions with your circle. Really trying to go as deep as I can, but still just warming up the hips because we just started stretching. Once you've done 5 circles one direction and 5 the other way, you're going to switch sides. This rotates the head of your femur around in your acetabulum and can help increase the fluid in your hip capsule, which will warm up the joint for further mobility exercises. And switch. Keeping my core tight, arms straight, making sure to breathe. Nice. Okay, the next thing that we'll be doing is just a quick downward facing dog. So plant your hands down, tuck your toes under, send your hips up and back. Here, I'm making sure I'm bending my knees so that my tailbone is going up towards the ceiling, straightening my arms, tucking my ribs in. Then I can melt my heels down towards the floor and straighten out my legs. And then I'll just pedal out my legs, one and the other, to just warm up the hips and hamstrings. Making sure to breathe. And then I'll melt both my heels down towards the mat. Deep breath in through the nose. And deep breath out. You can drop down onto your knees, and we're going to swivel the legs out in front of us and lay all the way down on our backs. I'm going to keep one foot grounded on the mat, tucking my left knee in towards my chest. I'm going to interlace my hands behind my thigh bone, so I'm not interlacing them behind my knee. They're going right behind my thigh, and then I'm going to flex my toes back against my shin. My shoulders are down, and my tailbone is grounded on the mat. I'm going to bend and straighten the leg 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to hold my leg at the top, and I'm going to flex and point the toe 5 times. 4, 2, and 1. I'm going to hold the flex of my foot, and if you can, walk your hands slightly up your leg, interlacing your hands behind your calf. If the calf is not accessible, you can feel free to keep your hands at your thigh. And then from here, I'm going to slowly start to straighten the other leg. I need deep breaths in through my nose, and deep breaths out through my nose. See if you can pull your leg a little bit further, go a little bit deeper. Now I'm going to kick my foot into my hand. So I'm gonna kick my foot like I'm doing a hamstring curl or trying to bend my leg. I'm gonna kick my foot into my hand for 5, 4, your leg might start to shake, that's totally normal. 3, 2, and 1. Then I'm gonna relax my leg and see if I can pull it in a little bit closer to my face. This technique is called PNF stretching, and it can help trick your nervous system into thinking that you can go into a deeper range of motion. Again, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Now I'm gonna release my hands from my leg, and I'm gonna hold my leg where it is, really trying to squeeze my knee as tight as I can, flex my foot against my shin for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then interlace my hands behind my calf, thigh, or ankle, and pull my foot in a little bit closer to my face. If you notice, my hip is grounded down on the mat, so my hips are not lifting up off the mat like this, they're grounded down on the mat. Now I'm going to point the toe and see if I can bring the foot in a little bit closer. Deep breaths in and out. Amazing. And then I'm slowly going to release my left leg. Shake it out. Ooh, big stretch. Now I'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So grounding my left foot on the mat. I'm going to bend my right knee in towards my chest, interlace my hands behind my right knee, flex my toes back towards my shin, kick and lower, kick and lower for 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Then I'm going to flex and point, flex and point for 3, 2, last one. Amazing. I'm going to flex my foot, maybe move my hands a little bit closer to my foot, and then straighten out this left leg. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Now I'm going to kick my foot into my hand. So if I kick really hard, I'm going to have to pull with my arms a little. So I'm actually going to bend my arms, draw my shoulders away from my ears, and kick into my hand for 5. If your leg is shaking, that's normal. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax the leg. See if you can pull it in a little bit closer to your face. Again, relax your jaw, relax your forehead. If you're sweating by now, you're probably doing it right. And then you're going to release the leg with your hands. Hold it where it is for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then pull your leg even closer to your face. You'll see that this technique really helps you gain a lot of range of motion. And focusing on keeping my tailbone grounded on the mat. And now I'll point the toe and pull it even closer to my face. Make sure that your knee is all the way straight. And then slowly release the leg down towards the mat. Amazing. For this next stretch, you will need your yoga blocks, but if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use anything that you can prop your hands up onto, such as books or even maybe a foam roller. So I'm going to place the blocks on the medium setting, and I'm going to go into a 90-90 lunge. So a 90-90 lunge, my knee is directly stacked over my ankle, and then my back knee is directly stacked over my hip. I'm actually going to fold my mat over to give my knee a little bit of an extra cushion on the back leg as well. So from this 90-90 lunge position, I'm going to place both hands on my front leg and I'm going to tuck my back knee under. From there, I'm going to try to keep my hips where they are and I'm going to straighten the back leg, bend the back knee, and straighten it out, bend, and straighten. For 5, breathe, 4, 3, 2, and on the last one, I'm going to hold it and try to sit a little bit deeper in that front leg, keeping my pelvis neutral, my shoulders away from my ears. And then I'm going to drop the back knee down and I'm going to place my hands on my yoga blocks. It's very important that your yoga blocks are not too far ahead of your hips. So I'm keeping my yoga blocks right next to both of my hips. I'm going to scoot my front knee slightly forward and allow my hips to open as I sink deeper into my lunge. This is a static stretch for the front of your hip, so this will help open up your hip flexors if you have tight hip flexors or a tight psoas. Another thing is that my back ankle is not sickled, my toes are directly behind my ankle, shoulders are relaxed. We'll hold this stretch for about 5 breaths. If you can see, my knee is going slightly past my ankle, but not all the way over my toes. Maybe move the blocks to a lower setting. Amazing. Now flip the blocks back up onto the highest setting. You're going to shift back, stacking your hips over your back knee into a half split position. Here, I'm not going to round my back forward like this. I'm keeping my chest open, my heart is facing the wall in front of me, and my knee is also all the way straight. Here, you can flex and point the toe, you can roll the ankle around, you can roll the hips around a little bit, and then we'll find our static stretch. So coming into our half split, my tailbone is facing the wall behind me. If you need to come up on the higher setting on the blocks to get that flat back position, go ahead and do so. But if you feel like you have a little bit more range of motion, you can come onto the medium setting. I'm imagining my forehead going towards my big toe, and I'm gonna breathe for 3 breaths here. Kind of go a little bit deeper. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold deeper into the pose. Maybe move your blocks onto the lower setting. Beautiful job. And then slowly come out. Whew. The last stretch that we'll be doing on this side is going to be a pigeon pose. So I'm going to walk my leg over to the opposite side of my mat, coming into a pigeon position. If this position is very difficult for you, you can put blocks on either sides of your hips. And if it's extremely difficult and you need a modification, go ahead and place the block underneath the sit bone of your front leg. It's very important that you keep the front foot flexed as much as you can to protect the knee, and my back foot is pointed straight back behind me. First, I'm going to rise up into my regular pigeon, drawing my shoulders away from my ears, feeling a deep stretch in the front hip. And then if you would like to go a little bit deeper, you can put the blocks beside your hips. This is a really great stretch for our outer hips. We've warmed up our outer hips a lot already, so this is really great for opening up your external rotators. And then once you feel ready, You can move your blocks to the side or even take a block out in front of you and walk down onto your forearms. Making sure to take deep breaths. And then if you feel ready, you can relax your forehead down on the block. Or maybe even move the block off to the side and relax your forehead down on the mat. Five breaths here. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Last breath. Slowly walk your hands back towards your leg. Then we're gonna shake it out. So tuck your back toe under, shift back into that downward facing dog again. You can lift your leg up, bend your knee, open your hip, kick your booty. Okay, our left side is done. So now we are going to do our right side. So we started in our 90-90 lunge, coming up onto my left knee, stacking my right knee over my ankle on the front leg. I'm going to tuck my back toes under and I'm going to straighten the back leg, trying to keep my hips level, and then my hips are square, so both of my hip bones are facing the wall in front of me. Bend, straighten. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and hold. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Drop the back knee down, untuck the toe, reach for your yoga blocks. And again, my front knee can go slightly over my ankle and my back toes are facing right behind me. Thinking about taking deep belly breaths into that hip flexor. Deep breathing can help activate our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest system. So this is the part that we want to activate when we are stretching. If we are in a fight or flight state, then our muscles won't open and they won't become pliable because our body does not think that we're safe. So breathing not only oxygenates your muscles and creates fresh blood flow, but it also helps with relaxing your nervous system so you can access deeper ranges of motion. Amazing. You can go ahead and flip the blocks onto the medium setting and shift back into the half split that we did on the other side. Keeping my front foot flexed, making sure that my tailbone is not tucked under, that it is facing the wall behind me. If you need to move the blocks up onto the higher setting in order to do so, you can go ahead and do that now. Reaching the crown of my head towards my big toe. And folding over my hamstring. 3 more breaths here. Amazing. Now shift forward into that lunge that we were in before, and you can walk your right foot over to the left side of the mat. Again, if you need a modification, feel free to place the block underneath the sit bone of the front hip. If you would like a little bit more of a stretch, go ahead and remove the block, placing the blocks by your hips or moving the blocks off to the side. And then whenever you feel ready, you can fold forward into your sleeping pigeon. First coming down onto the forearms and then relaxing all the way down. We'll take 5 breaths here. Really thinking about lengthening and folding. Amazing. Walk your hands back towards your hips. Shift back into your downward facing dog. You can pedal out your legs. Maybe open the knee, open the hip. Amazing. Amazing job. Okay, so your hips and hamstrings should be feeling pretty warm, pretty stretched out now. So now we're going to work on our inner thighs, the flexibility that you will need for a straddle. So you are going to come into a froggy position. So I am bringing my knees out wide to the edges of my mat. Coming into this frog position, I'm going to flex my toes to protect my knees and come down onto my forearms. Now, if this position is really difficult for you, feel free to elevate your forearms on some blocks. But if you're like, I got this, I have a little bit more range of motion, then you can move that block out of the way, coming down onto the elbow.